Have you ever asked yourself why pressure seems to ruin clarity for some people, yet slowly builds strength in others? Why does stress make one mind feel crowded and confused, while another mind becomes quieter and more focused over time? Is pressure a force that damages the brain, or is it something the brain can actually learn from? And if pressure is unavoidable, the real question becomes this: can the mind be trained to grow stronger inside it, instead of collapsing under it? Every day, your brain handles more information than any generation before you. Messages, expectations, choices, comparisons, and uncertainty arrive without pause. This constant demand feels personal, but it is actually biological. Your brain is responding exactly as it was designed to respond to pressure. The problem is not that pressure exists. The problem is that modern pressure rarely gives the brain time to recover. Your nervous system evolved for short danger followed by rest. Now the danger signal never fully turns off. Inside your brain, this activates a powerful survival network. The amygdala looks for threat. The hippocampus tries to store what happened. The prefrontal cortex works to stay logical and make decisions. When pressure rises, these systems compete. Emotion often moves faster than reason. Attention narrows. Thinking becomes rigid, not because you are weak, but because survival comes first. But neuroscience now shows something deeply hopeful. The brain does not stay stuck in this state. It adapts. It changes its structure based on how pressure is handled over time. This ability is called neuroplasticity. It means your brain is always learning from experience, not from motivation, not from intention, but from repetition. What you repeatedly do under pressure becomes your brain's default response. If pressure is always met with panic, the brain strengthens panic pathways. If pressure is met with avoidance, the brain strengthens fear. But if pressure is met with awareness and recovery, the brain learns stability. This is how resilience is built at a biological level. One of the first changes happens in attention. At the beginning, stress makes everything feel urgent. Your brain treats all signals as equally important. This creates mental noise and exhaustion. Over time, if pressure continues but recovery is present, the brain learns to filter. It stops reacting to everything. It prioritizes what truly matters. This is why experienced people seem less distracted. Their brains are not calmer by nature. They are more selective by training. They have learned where to place attention and where not to. This is not talent, it is adaptation. Memory also changes under pressure. In the short term, stress can disrupt recall. You forget names, details, and small tasks. This can feel alarming, but it is temporary. With time, the brain compensates. Instead of storing every detail, it stores patterns. It remembers meaning rather than information. This makes thinking faster and more flexible. This is the neurological foundation of wisdom. Wisdom is not knowing more facts. It is knowing what matters in complex situations, and that comes from experience processed well. Processing speed evolves too. Early pressure slows thinking and increases doubt, but repeated exposure shortens neural pathways. Decisions require less effort. This is why professionals under pressure often appear calm. They are not suppressing emotion. Their brains have optimized responses. Pressure has trained efficiency. Brain imaging confirms this. Resilient individuals show stronger connections between emotional and logical centers. They still feel stress, but they recover faster. Recovery speed is more important than stress intensity. Avoiding pressure does not build resilience. Learning how to return to balance does. This is where the future of neuroscience is focusing. Now let's slow down and talk about how this applies to real life. Because resilience is not built in theory, it is built in moments that feel ordinary. Moments that repeat daily. Think about education. Students who face meaningful challenge learn cognitive endurance. They struggle, feel confused, and adapt. Their brains learn that difficulty is not danger. In contrast, environments that remove all challenge weaken the brain. The mind never practices recovery. Later, normal stress feels overwhelming. This creates fragility, not confidence. Work life shows the same pattern. A new job feels mentally heavy at first. Mistakes feel personal. Attention feels scattered. But slowly, the brain reorganizes. Priorities become clear. Emotional reactions soften. Pressure becomes familiar instead of threatening. Parenting offers another example. Early stress disrupts sleep and focus. The nervous system feels overloaded. But adaptation happens quickly. The brain becomes more efficient. Attention sharpens. Emotional awareness deepens. Pressure reshapes neural pathways. Failure plays a powerful role too. At first, failure spikes stress hormones. Confidence drops. The brain reacts as if safety is threatened. But reflection changes everything. When failure is processed, the brain extracts meaning. This reduces future stress responses. Pain becomes guidance instead of fear. Neuroscience shows that meaning protects the brain. When pressure has purpose, damage decreases, recovery improves. This is why values matter neurologically. Now we come to the most important part. How do you actively help your brain adapt instead of break? This is where practical tools matter, not motivation, but biology. The first and most powerful tool is breathing. Not deep breathing in general, but slow, controlled breathing. This sends a safety signal to the brain. Stress hormones decrease. When breathing slows, heart rhythm changes. That signal travels through the vagus nerve. The brain interprets this as safety. Thinking widens again. Another powerful tool is naming emotions. When you label what you feel, brain activity shifts. Emotional centers calm, logical centers activate. Saying "I feel overwhelmed" is regulation, not weakness. It organizes emotional data. The brain responds with clarity. This is proven neuroscience. Writing is another essential tool. When thoughts stay in the head, memory overloads. When written down, the brain relaxes. Problems become manageable. This is why journaling works. It externalizes pressure. It frees cognitive space. Insight appears naturally. Movement is equally important. Walking clears stress hormones. It restores mental flexibility. Your brain evolved to think while moving. Stillness under pressure traps energy. Movement releases it. This is biology, not mindset. Even short walks help. Controlled exposure is another key practice. Avoiding stress teaches fear. Gradual exposure teaches tolerance. This is how resilience forms. Small challenges build confidence naturally. The brain learns, "I can handle this." Not from affirmations, but experience. This rewires belief at a neural level. Reframing pressure is also powerful. Asking, "What is this teaching me?" activates higher brain regions. The brain shifts from survival to learning. Chemistry changes instantly. Sleep is non-negotiable. During sleep, the brain reorganizes memory. Emotion separates from information. Stress turns into learning. Chronic sleep loss blocks resilience. No mindset can override biology. Rest is not weakness, it is neural maintenance. Social connection matters deeply. Safe conversations regulate the nervous system. The brain calms when it feels understood. Isolation amplifies stress. Even brief supportive interactions help. They reset emotional balance. The brain evolved socially. Resilience is rarely built alone. From a future perspective, resilience will be a core life skill, not toughness, not suppression, but intelligent processing of experience. Pressure itself is neutral. Unprocessed pressure causes harm. Processed pressure creates strength. This is not belief, it is biology. So when your mind feels under pressure, pause. Your brain is not failing. It is adapting. It is learning how to handle complexity. Resilience is not becoming hard. It is becoming flexible without breaking. And the future belongs to minds that learn how to grow under pressure, not escape it. Now pause for a moment and think about this quietly. Every time pressure enters your life, your brain asks one simple question. Is this dangerous, or is this manageable? Your answer is not spoken in words, but in behavior. When you rush, panic, or avoid, the brain records danger. When you slow down, observe, and stay present, the brain records safety. Over time, these recordings become your default response. This is how personality is slowly built from experience. Many people believe resilience is about being strong all the time. Neuroscience says something different. Resilience is about how often you return to balance, not how intense the stress was. It is the rhythm of disruption and recovery that shapes the brain. Think about moments when you felt overwhelmed but didn't collapse. Nothing magical happened. You simply stayed long enough for your nervous system to settle. Your brain learned something important in that moment. It learned that pressure does not always mean danger. It learned that discomfort can pass. It learned that clarity often returns on its own. This learning is stored deeply, even if you don't notice it consciously. This is why people who have lived through difficulty often carry a quiet calm. They are not fearless. They are familiar with recovery. Their brains trust that balance will return. Modern neuroscience is now calling this predictive safety. The brain predicts whether it will survive a challenge based on past experience. If recovery happened before, panic decreases next time. This prediction shapes emotional intensity. That means every small moment of coping matters. Not the big victories, but the small ones. The time you stayed present instead of escaping. The time you breathed instead of reacting. Over years, these moments accumulate. The brain rewires slowly, stress responses soften, perspective widens. This is why resilience cannot be rushed. The brain does not change through insight alone. It changes through repetition, through lived evidence that pressure is survivable. Let's talk about everyday pressure again, because this is where real training happens. Standing in traffic, handling criticism, waiting for uncertain results. These moments feel small, but they are not. Each one is a signal to the nervous system. Each one is either reinforcing fear or reinforcing stability. There is no neutral response. The brain is always learning. This is also why people burn out differently. Burnout is not just too much work. It is too much pressure without meaning or recovery. The brain loses trust in rest. Future neuroscience research is focusing heavily on this trust. When the brain trusts recovery, resilience grows. When it doesn't, even small stress feels heavy. This explains why rest alone doesn't fix burnout. The brain must relearn safety through slow routines, through predictable pauses, through moments of control. This is where simple daily rituals matter. Morning silence, evening walks, consistent sleep times. These are not lifestyle trends. They are nervous system training. They teach the brain when to switch off threat mode. This protects mental clarity long term. Another overlooked factor is decision fatigue. Pressure increases when the brain makes too many choices. Simplifying life reduces stress more than motivation ever will. This is why routines feel calming. The brain loves predictability during chaos. It frees mental energy. It lowers background stress. It improves emotional control. From a future perspective, we are beginning to understand something profound. The strongest minds are not those that resist pressure. They are those that cooperate with their biology. They work with the nervous system, not against it. This is the shift happening in neuroscience and psychology today. Less pushing, more understanding, less judgment. Pressure will never disappear from human life, but our relationship with it can change. And when that relationship changes, the brain changes too. So if your mind feels heavy right now, do not rush to fix it. Pause and notice how you are responding. Your brain is listening, and it is learning from you every single day.